Imagine living in a world where speaking your mind could get you thrown in prison, where questioning authority, not with violence but with reason, was seen as rebellion. That was the world of François-Marie Arouet, better known as Voltaire. And yet, this man refused to stay silent. Armed only with words, wit, and relentless irony, he shook the foundations of power, kings, churches, and dogmas alike. Voltaire didn't carry a sword, he carried sarcasm. His battlefield was the mind, his weapon was reason, and his shield was humor. In this video, we'll travel through his life and his ideas, the ones that shaped the Enlightenment and still echo today. The defense of freedom of speech, the fight against fanaticism, the balance between faith and reason, and the courage to doubt even what everyone else takes for granted. Because understanding Voltaire isn't just about the 18th century, it's about why thinking for yourself still feels like a radical act. Before we dive into his life and his ideas, hi, I'm Federico, and this is The Mind of the Masters. If you enjoy deep thinkers and world-changing ideas, make sure you like the video and subscribe. I also want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, which thinker, which writer, which revolutionary mind should I explore next? There's a new episode every day. So now, let's begin. Chapter 2. Who was Voltaire? Voltaire was born in Paris in 1694, not into nobility, not into poverty, but into that middle zone that can read, think, and question. He was trained by Jesuits and learned to write like a sniper, precise, elegant, deadly. By his 20s, he was already causing trouble. Not because he fought in the streets, but because he wrote poems and lines that mocked powerful people. In 1717, he got thrown into the Bastille, a royal prison, simply because he annoyed a nobleman. Think about that. Imagine posting a sarcastic comment today and ending up in jail for 11 months. That happened to him. When Voltaire got out, he didn't become silent, he became smarter. He learned something very important. If you want to change the world, you don't shout. You write in a way the world can't ignore. He traveled. He studied science. He became obsessed with English ideas of freedom. He lived in exile when France got too dangerous. Voltaire lived right at the edge between being tolerated and being eliminated. He became a celebrity intellectual, but also a fugitive of ideas. His life was proof that knowledge is power, but courage is the permission to use it, and that combination, reason plus courage, is what turned Voltaire from a poet into an atomic reactor of the Enlightenment. Chapter 3. Freedom of speech. Voltaire is often connected to this famous line, "I disagree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." He was a fierce defender of freedom of expression and believed that people should not be punished merely for thinking or expressing an idea. Debate, education, and reason were his preferred tools to confront harmful or absurd ideas. But Voltaire also understood a crucial point. Ideas are not harmless. Some can lead to serious harm if acted upon. While he supported open discussion, he recognized that ideas promoting violence, oppression, or the destruction of others demand a rational response. For Voltaire, an idea only becomes socially or legally relevant when it leads to concrete harm. In such cases, the community has the right and the duty to protect itself using laws, prevention, and education, not arbitrary repression. Voltaire was for tolerance, but not naive. He criticized regimes, institutions, and ideologies that abused authority or attacked fundamental human rights. When ideas threaten others' safety or dignity, society must respond rationally and proportionally, balancing freedom with protection. Summary: ideas alone are not crimes. Ideas that lead to concrete harm must be confronted. Combating dangerous ideas requires reason, debate, and education, not only repression. Freedom of speech is a core value, but it does not extend to justifying violence or atrocities. In short, Voltaire would defend the right to express thoughts, but he would insist that liberty is meaningful only when it does not threaten the life or rights of others. Chapter 4. Against Religious Fanaticism. A war not against God, but against people who claim a monopoly on God. One of the biggest misunderstandings about Voltaire is this. Voltaire was not attacking God. He was attacking the people who used God as a weapon. He looked at the world and saw that many crimes were committed not in spite of religion, but in the name of religion. For Voltaire, religion had two faces: private faith, your personal relationship with the divine; public power, institutions that want to control society. He believed the first was sacred. He believed the second was dangerous. Think of religion like fire. Fire in your fireplace warms your home. Fire in the hands of a fanatic burns cities. Voltaire respected spirituality, but he refused to respect extremism. He asked a simple, powerful question. If God gave us reason, why do these men forbid us to use it? And that question, in the 18th century, was almost explosive. Even today, we see the same pattern, people saying, "Believe me, because I am the authority." Leaders demanding loyalty instead of logic. Individuals punished not for crimes, but for asking questions. Voltaire's lesson, belief without reflection, is not faith, it is obedience. And obedience is the most comfortable road to collective disaster. For Voltaire, truth has nothing to fear from questions, only lies fear debate. Chapter 5. Rationality and Irony. Voltaire is the original stand-up intellectual. Voltaire didn't preach, he mocked. He used irony like a scalpel. He discovered that one joke, placed precisely, could cut deeper than 100 sermons. For him, reason wasn't dry or boring. It was a weapon of elegance. Imagine a huge walls of bricks fortress, a dogma, a rigid ideology. Most philosophers bring hammers and try to smash it violently. Voltaire brings a small needle and finds the single brick that is loose. He pulls that brick gently, and the entire structure collapses by itself. That is Voltaire. He believed sarcasm is not just humor, it is precision engineering. When a person claims to know the truth absolutely, Voltaire pokes. Really? How do you know? Show me the evidence. He is not aggressive, but he is impossible to defeat because he uses your own ideas against you. Today, we see this on the internet every day. Memes, satire, short mocking comments that demolish a whole speech. His style was the beginning of the philosophy of question everything and use wit as the detonator. And that is why Voltaire is not outdated. He is basically the prototype of the modern thinker who uses humor to expose absurdity. Chapter 6. Optimism, Candide, and Toxic Positivity. When believing everything happens for a reason becomes dangerous. One of Voltaire's most famous works is Candide, a satire about a young man traveling the world. Candide begins with a teacher, Pangloss, who tells him the universe is perfect and everything that happens, even disasters, is always for the best. Voltaire destroys this idea with story after story of absurd tragedy. Example from Candide. Early in the story, Candide witnesses a devastating earthquake that kills thousands of people. Pangloss insists, all is for the best in this best of all possible worlds. Candide, horrified, struggles to reconcile this philosophy with the reality he sees, a world full of suffering, injustice, and absurdity. Through this extreme contrast, Voltaire shows optimism when blind becomes delusion. He critiques the idea that simply saying everything happens for a reason or it's all for the best is enough to face reality. Candide's journey, from naive acceptance to practical action, teaches the modern reader, don't just hope, see clearly, act wisely, question what seems perfect. Voltaire wasn't against hope, He was against delusion masquerading as hope. Today, we see the same problem in toxic positivity, motivational cliches that ignore real struggles, leaving people passive or self-blaming. Voltaire's lesson is clear. Hope with reflection is empowering. Hope without reflection is dangerous. Chapter 7. Legacy. Voltaire probably never imagined smartphones, TikTok, or open comment sections. But his entire philosophy moves in the same direction the internet moves. More voices, more debate, less central control. He believed ideas should fight in public, not in private secret rooms controlled by kings and popes. The internet is literally that. Billions of ideas clashing all day. Of course, the internet can be chaotic, aggressive, sometimes stupid. Voltaire knew that freedom is messy. But he also knew censorship and silence are far more dangerous. Voltaire's dream was not order. His dream was choice. He believed humans are capable of thinking independently, but only if they are allowed to see multiple sides. That's why Voltaire is not just a historical figure. He is the intellectual ancestor of every journalist, every activist, every scientist, every anonymous commenter who dares to say, "Show me the evidence." Every time a citizen challenges authority, every time a writer criticizes power, every time someone asks a forbidden question, Voltaire is speaking again. His legacy is not a sentence in a book. It is a method. Question doubt, expose reason. He taught us, freedom of thought is not a luxury. It is the foundation of a human life with dignity. Chapter 8. Closing. Voltaire lived in a world where the cost of speaking freely was prison. Today, for most of us, the cost is a comment section, a dislike or a disagreement. That is progress. But freedom is never automatic. It must be used, or it disappears. Voltaire teaches us something profoundly simple. Thinking for yourself is an act of courage, and courage is contagious. So here is the closing message of this video. Don't ask for permission to think. Don't apologize for having questions. Don't let anyone, a priest, a politician, a professor, or a trend, tell you that curiosity is dangerous. The world only improves when someone dares to say the uncomfortable sentence. That doesn't make sense. Can we examine it? Voltaire's call is still our call. Make the world noisy. Make the world intelligent. Make the world awake. Because silence was never the path to truth. Only friction, the honest clash of ideas, creates clarity. Voltaire didn't want worship. He wanted thought. And thought, when free, is still revolutionary.